Hello BookTube! Today we are going to be talking about misconceptions about scientists and fiction. I think I'm going to make this as a series of videos, and I want input from you on things that you want to know more about or questions about how a scientist might view a particular event or scene and how to essentially write a better scientist. One of the biggest misconceptions, and the first one that I want to talk about, is the idea that a scientist is not creative. They were analytical, we are black and white, and we just don't have that. We're very robotic and don't have a creative side. And this just is 100% across the board just not true. To be a successful scientist, you have to have a creative side. You're expected in your profession to look at a problem that's existed for humanity in some cases, or since humanity, and try to think of it in a way that no one before you has, and put together recent revelations within that field or multiple fields and come up with a new idea or a new potential solution to that. And you just can't do that if you're not creative, if it's just rote memory and you're reciting things that you've learned. That's not being a scientist. Being a scientist is having original ideas and trying to problem solve. And problem solvers are creative. I have worked in science now for 11 or 12 years, and I have worked in 5 different states, in 2 government labs, and a handful of academic labs, including the Ivy League, and now I'm in industrial or for-profit science, and it's been across the board true. To be successful as a scientist, you have to have a creative side. So when I see these flat, monotonous, just sort of cardboard scientist characters, it just always makes me a little sad, because they're missing one of the best parts about knowing a scientist or being a scientist, is that I get to problem solve and answer questions as a living. And yes, sometimes that makes me want to beat my head against a wall, because no one up to this point has been able to solve this problem. What makes me think I'm special and going to be able to? But it's persistence, it's perseverance, and looking at a problem from, okay, those 10 ways didn't work, let's try it this way. And being able to keep up with literature and understand your field and how it relates to other fields and different knowledge that you can draw from those different sources. And it always saddens me when people think that, oh, well, you don't like this because you're a scientist. No, I do actually. I'm a pretty creative person. I draw and I paint, and I have basically my whole life. I make YouTube videos, and I used to have a blog through grad school, and I am not alone in this. I honestly can't think of a single scientist that I have known in the duration of my career that is not creative and doesn't have some sort of outlet, whether it be music or painting and art or photography or film or I was trying to think of some of the obscure ones that I've heard of through the years. Synchronized swimming was one. That was recent for one of my colleagues now. I honestly, I can't think of anyone that hasn't had a creative hobby in ever. For any of the scientists that I either currently know or have known that have actually stayed in science. I wouldn't count necessarily every student that I've ever met, but definitely those who have persevered and stayed within the field. All of them are creative. If you have specific topics that you're interested in this, I have a series of videos sort of tentatively sketched out in mind for things that bug me the most. But if you have specific questions on, life in science and jargon, which is definitely a video that I'm going to do, because the way that the scientific field is even portrayed is just annoying to me sometimes. We don't get summers off, even when we work for an academic lab. It's a business. Like you have to do science. You do science year round. You don't get summers off. Like, I don't know where that came from. How we address one another and how conferences work is also sometimes construed incorrectly. The terminology we used is not also that clear. If you have questions about what it means to be a scientist, or anything related to these topics, please let me know and I'll include those in this video series. This is going to be the first one. I hope it's not a complete flop because most people view scientists as relatively boring, so I don't know if me talking about, hey, I science things is going to be very well received, but I think it's important to at least get out there to those that have asked these questions to me so far, and to provide the opportunity for people to ask questions and learn more about what it actually is like working as a scientist versus what it is in theory. I think Elizabeth from Books and Pieces just posted a video, or I might have been going through her history, about the reality of a job. Like she's talking about being a librarian versus your idea of what the job is like, and scientists and science definitely falls under that category. So I might do a what you thought the job was kind of video as well, and how it's different from when you're an undergrad taking science classes. Like that's just not anywhere even close or remotely similar to what I do, other than you might have held a pipette at one point. Yeah, but I want to share. I like what I do, obviously. I like reading and I like sharing and I like discussing things. And I'm going to try to wrap up again because we all know this is my downfall, stopping a video. Anyway, I hope you're having a great week, and please let me know if you have questions or if you have thoughts on these videos, if you're not interested at all, or if you have other things related to this that you want me to touch on in these kinds of videos. I look forward to hearing all of your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope you're having a great week. I will talk to you soon. Bye.